We got those picks and bans ready now, and it's game 3. This is the decider match. No more 1-1s. Everyone goes home feeling good about themselves. Someone in this set is going to be the winner, and it's either Splyce or Trifecta. Trifecta looked like they could have been a top 2 team, but if you want to be top 2, you got to be able to win sets like this.
I mean, look, as good as Splyce has looked today, and basically all year, which is crazy to say, they're still in 6th place.
It's stuff like this that helps their plus-minus, by the way.
Yep.
Splitting with Trifecta again, or going to 3 games. Yeah, it's stuff like this.
This is what Splyce has done all year, is just force you to game 3s. You got to earn it against Splyce.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're still 1-6 overall, and if you're going to make it to LAN, these are the teams you have to beat.
Already, the Athena has been taken away by Splyce. They do not want to deal with that again, and I like it. Showing a little bit of respect towards Neil, but also it's certainly a strong enough pick in its own right, one that you got to make sure that you're taking off the board. They're also going to take away the Uller. They do not want to see Zap on that Uller in the Hunter position, so they take that one away too.
Yeah, and that leaves open potentially the Ratatoskr that Splyce has been consistently banning.
A lot of good stuff.
Away from Mass. Now Trifecta's got a choice to make, though. Wow, and it's going to be Ganesh. So in Game 1, they banned Terra, which was then neither picked nor banned. Then Game 2, they banned that Najah, which Cyno just ran them with in Game 1. So Splyce has got a couple options here. Could be something like the Agni, which was prioritized by Trifecta Game 2. Yeah, I like this pick. Take Metyankey off of the god that he's looked best on so far here in Season 5. I think this is a smart pick by Splyce. But now if you're on Trifecta, you can go for the Ratatoskr that's been consistently banned away, plus the Terra if you so choose. I feel like Terra is going to be pretty important here for Trifecta.
Oh, wow. The Nemesis selection is going to come out yet again. Very likely going to be going to Mask. And we didn't get a chance to highlight it as the Rat comes out as well, so maybe it's a little bit up in the air where these picks are going. But the differences between the 2 junglers, between Game 1 and Game 2, was also really important, especially throughout that early to mid game there, Ryan. So prioritizing some picks to make them comfortable makes sense to me.
Rom, no surprise. Splyce has picked this as early as possible in every draft so far.
Yeah.
Not really paid off to them quite yet, but we were asking for CycloneSpin to play Hunters, and we're getting it, so I'm not going to complain about it. Next week, we can start moving on to different Hunters.
I see.
Baby
We're taking steps.
Yeah, exactly. Baby steps. I think that's important here. And it is the Najah for Splyce, which I really like, because even though Trifecta takes both priority assassins, you would think, in this matchup, it's still leaving open that Najah for Cyno on the other side. I just wonder, I mean, Rat solo seems to be the more logical choice here, I think.
But you don't want to take that from Mask, right?
Exactly. You don't want to take it from Mask. And we've seen some Nemesis solos so far this year, specifically from Kiki on Luminosity. So maybe Scary D's going to take a page out of his book in this Raijin selection for Metyankey. You know, I'll be honest, I've been kind of poo-pooing Raijin recently in Season 5. Haven't thought he's been very good, but I've been watching back some of the games that he's been involved in, and he's been making a really big impact, man. I think that I might have to eat my words on how strong Raijin is right now. Not your top mage off the board, but with Giannis gone and the Agni priority pick here for Trifecta, I actually think Raijin's a pretty solid pick.
You're saying mid Raijin. I don't know. Wasn't it at Ataraxia for Obey that we saw play
hold on.
Hunter Raijin?
Mid Raijin only. Miss me with Raijin in the long lane.
So hopefully it'll be that mid Raijin as Trifecta take 2 Guardians off the board, Sobek and the Geb. Feels to me though like those are aimed at different places. Sobek has been very strong as a solo laner here this season, so that could be doubling as a ban in both of those areas. Whereas Splyce take away the Hachiman and the Jingwei, trying to limit some of the Hunter options. But I'm telling you, they're getting baited. That's Raijin ADC, Ryan. Come on. I mean,
oh God, I hope not. Finch. Terra makes it all the way down to one of the last picks in the entire draft. That'll be for NeiruMah. Honestly,
quite a luxury. Yeah.
I wasn't convinced that this Ratatoskr wasn't going over to Neil. Neil is one of the dudes who will play anything in that support role. Dardez is who NeiruMah wants to be when he grows up, basically. He just wants to be allowed to play all this crazy stuff in the support role, and Rat can kind of fit that, but instead they kind of leave it open to the Terra. But I wouldn't be surprised if Trifecta was saying, if this draft goes a certain way, we'll just throw the Rat in support.
This feels very open to me, does the Trifecta draft. They can kind of go wherever they want to with this and put those gods wherever they need to. They do not have a Hunter yet, so that's likely to be this last option, and a lot's already been taken. Hachiman, Jingwei, Rom, Uller, all already off the board. If they do want to go with the traditional physical Hunter, certainly could put an Artemis, though, in that slot, and that's going to be the selection. Trifecta take the Artemis for Zap.
I love Artemis-Terra combination, man. Root into stun into trap, and you're just stuck there for what feels like forever.
You can go get a drink for a while, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you're just like, oh, I'm done playing for now. Cool. I'll just back it up and go do whatever else, and then I'll be dead by the time I get back anyways.
Right.
Because of the lockdown that Artemis and Terra together can provide. Plus, Artemis's biggest knock on her, right? Early wave clear. Terra, early wave clear is pretty solid. So I like these two together for Trifecta.
Do you like him enough to take Trifecta here? This is game 3, Ryan. I don't know if we can go over to the casters without me hearing your pick.
Man, Agni Naja was so good for Splyce in game 1. But I just feel like Trifecta is playing well right now. I'm a believer in Metyankey and how well he's been playing. I'm going Trifecta.
Yeah, I agree with you. If I was picking teams, it's Trifecta, but I love this Splyce draft. So, I mean,
great point.
I got to see the way that these end up getting played out. Tom, Graham, please take this one away.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Going to be a very interesting one here. For me, look, I mean, we've seen Agni both games, and Agni's won both times. He's been a very big linchpin there. You were shaking your head, though, what Agro had to say. You don't think it's going to be Trifecta's game?
No, I don't think so at all. I think Cyno on the Naja has been just too spectacular.
That is also a very good point. Now, one thing about what we're seeing drafted here as well is obviously talking point is it going to be Nemesis, Rat, support, solo? Like, only one of them can jungle. Terra could be in the solo lane, a specialty that we've seen Divios do before. But this Nemesis, like, this is the one that we could see potentially switch into that support role.
Both Nem and Rat support are very attractive, and Taco and I have mentioned this a little bit here and there on the broadcast that NeiruMah's God pool is very eclectic, and we don't always get to see that. In fact, sometimes when it was funny, he tweeted about watching Mouse, and he said, Dardes just plays all the stuff that my team doesn't let me do.
That's true.
Dardes playing the Thor and the Agni.
He's against Aror as well, who is one of those people that will pull it out, so maybe Aror knows how to deal with whatever he's against. Let's get into this game, but before we do, who do you think's going to win this one? It's not about what we have to say, or really what you have to say either. It's about how these guys play.
Pretty much. It's all about what happens down on the battlefield. So Nemesis support I like more than I like the Rat, but they both offer options if they're building tanky.
But if it's Terra in the support role, then the question is it Nemesis or Rat in the solo against Cerberus?
Both are options. Against Cerberus, I think you go Nemesis because Rat's more reliant on the healing.
Also, he has no boots. Let's get into game and find out how this one breaks down between the two.
It's going to be scary D on the Nemesis solo. Like this option. Plenty of clear, obviously. Yeah, I've always liked Nemesis in different positions. Nemesis is really nice.
That's not your area, Splyce. That is between a tier 1 and tier 2 tower. So this is called the loop. As you'd like to see. Best going to eat a little bit more as he was straggling behind. He's got long strides. How is he so far behind?
I mean, he just walks slower. He's got that jaunt.
Funny enough, when you think about it, he's got the big old gaping jaunt, as you said, but at the same time, you've got Toth, who also like walks like a giant.
Yeah, I mean, he like kind of walks his walk pattern. It's like he's on. You ever be in the airport and they got that moving sidewalk?
Yeah,
that's what Thoth walks like. Yeah. Also, like a marching band player.
I don't like walking on those though. The whole idea is to stand and feel regal as you just like slowly move down the area.
Oh, I like to.
You like to zoom?
Yeah.
No, because when you get at the end, you fall over. Done that a few times. Zapman and the Trifectas. 64% are still following along. That's down, however, from last vote when Zapman was separate. I'm just saying.
They had about 80% of the vote.
Well, Zapman had 50% on his own last time. The team with Zapman is 64%, which means they've had a decrease overall.
Yeah, well.
Disgusting.
That's what happens when you offer alternative options there on the polls.
So once again, we're going to see some interesting stuff in the duo lane where they don't want to fight at level 1. This seems to be just a clear talking point of these two duo lanes. They're happy to just surrender. One or the other will surrender each time. Like, okay, you win this battle, my friend. We will see you at level 2.
Yeah, I mean, nobody really wants to fight at level 1.
Yeah, they do.
No. Characters just don't have enough abilities in it, man.
I mean, the games I've seen outside of the competitive NA, that says otherwise.
We saw a couple. Actually, yesterday we saw a couple of kills before the bell, didn't we?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Maybe they just. This is a new meta. Maybe these two teams have had a little talking before the game. They're like, hey guys, do you want to should we just make a decision here? Like, we'll both wait till level 2 and then we'll fight. They're like, yeah, sure. Let's give it a go. See how it feels.
I'd actually like to see, that would have been an interesting adaptation if one of these teams picked out specifically a duo lane, keeping in mind that Hunters haven't really needed to occupy this space.
Yeah.
If they selected a duo lane that was just fantastic at crushing it at level 1.
And speaking about the first two games as well into this set, no real extra attention paid by the junglers to the dual lane either. Something that we've seen a little bit more of this season is the Hunters being focused, the dual lane specifically, being focused on more. But the last two games really felt like the trio in mid again of previous seasons.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. Solo laners have generally been ignored by the jungler, but with the advent of Warrior's Blessing, even more so in Season 5. But I think it was really just to do with the picks. You're going to want to camp the Hebo, more so than the Hunter. So,
well, speaking of this game as well, specifically, with a Nemesis in the solo lane against a Cerberus and a Rat in the jungle for Trifecta, Divios could be under threat quite a lot of the time here in the solo lane from the all-in potential of both those ultimates.
Yeah, it's absolutely very true. Scary D is going to be able to bring damage without needing to build into a ton of power because of the percent damage on that one.
Best took a lot more damage than he bargained for there. Has a health potion ticking away. Has to be very respectful of the bounce from Raijin.
I do like this selection, talking about picking into your opposition. Best has looked fantastic in Agni, and Mage's Blessing.
It's bounce.
No, it's fine. He knew he had enough minions there. That's why Best playing a little fast and loose.
You were way more confident in that one than me. I was like, that could bounce.
Dude, that's calculated. He knew exactly how many minions were going to intercept that Raijin bounce. But the key is that Agni used to be miserable from 1 to 5. Now he has gotten a little bit of a boost because of the Mage's Blessing, giving him some extra power and wave clear on those abilities, but Raijin is the star of pre-level 5 for my money. He's able to do so much damage, has so much push, that he can actually punish his Agni in the early stages.
Not as strong as it used to be, though, from the Raijin that we've seen in previous
Still
seasons,
there.
though, but it's still there. Alongside Isis and say like the two that are a little bit more prominent. Isis relying a little bit more on auto attacks, but thought they might have found a pick then for a second there. His Best was back in by those right-hand harpies. He's going to head back to base, already level 5. Gets some of his boots online. He's not got full boots just yet. Metyankey, only level 4, but hanging around a little bit longer.
Mask just lurking. Wanted to see if Cyno was going to walk up and try to fight the Raijin. Metyankey trying to provide as much bait as possible by sitting there almost half HP, just dangling himself. But Cyno knows better. Doesn't go for it. Smart move there by the, I guess we can call him, not quite a veteran, but certainly been around the block here.
Nemesis teleport for the solo lane. I'm not sure I'm a big fan. I guess, obviously, you played solo lane. Teleports can be very important for getting back to the wave relatively quickly. I do feel like it hurts a Nemesis, though, you know, to have to invest in that.
I mean, sure, you definitely want to want some of the other options. Traditionally on the jungle, you have the Blink and the defensive relic.
Yeah.
This time around, he's not going to have room for both.
But he can probably go full tank build anyway and still provide the same sort of thing that we were going to talk about, the support option of this Nemesis in terms of stay tanky, but still bring a lot of shred and control to these team fights.
Ton of slows. Obviously, the Slice and Dice doesn't need to do a ton of damage in order to provide the slowdown. The ultimate is going to do a lot of control as well as raw damage, not even taking power into account. And then perhaps most importantly, the thing that makes Nemesis even more exciting is the fact that she's going to strip protections with her basic attacks. So if she's able to build up defensively and then stay in the middle of those team fights and just whack, whack, whack on top of people, then she's going to be stripping protections, stripping health with the ultimate, stripping speed with the 2. She's got a lot in this kit that allows her to be a tank.
Could see a bit of a Barney in the right-hand side now because Cyno was round the back of Trifecta as they look to get aggressive on Divios, but ultimate was held from Mask, so it's okay. Or maybe not.
Not a Barney, just a little baby bop.
Good point. You're right. It wasn't a Barney.
You got to keep me going. I was really proud of that one, man.
No, I'm not proud of it at all. Aggression in the jungle. NeiruMah in trouble. Sash into the ultimate. We saw this in game 1 from Cyno. And yet again, NeiruMah under pressure. But this time, he's on the Terra and will be able to turn this around. Stay alive for now, but Aror still feeling the heat.
Damage wasn't there on the bottom when Cyno landed. Nice sash, going to come right into Metyankey. Needs to avoid some of the damage from the ultimate. Won't be able to, but here comes the best and puts one up for Splyce. That'll be first blood. That'll be second blood. But NeiruMah answers back, taking care of Cyno.
Important for NeiruMah to pick up that end kill, and now is Scary D rotating in. Nearly wanted to say Mask then on that Nemesis, but no, it's Scary D from the solo lane to make it a 2 for 2 in the jungle. All over the blue buff.
biggest difference there from game number 1 to game number 3, where we saw the Naja the last time, is the fact that he didn't have the damage waiting underneath him. Last time around, it was all about the combination of the Agni, Path of Flames, and the Dharmic Pillars coming out from support player Aror. This time, all he has is the Agni. Auror's not there, able to drop power underneath, and Agni didn't even have the setup to drop the Path of Flames. So it was the long-range damage. Cyno got there a step before his teammates, and the kill almost went the other way, but luckily, Splyce was able to extend that team fight and put things in their favor.
Although when I look at where the kills went to, I do favor Splyce. Obviously, I believe they're the ones that got the very first kill of that engagement. Yes. But not only that, it's who it went to, more importantly. NeiruMah getting that kill, not as important as maybe seeing one of the carries pick that up. Obviously, Best getting one definitely helps.
Terra's one of the Guardians that I really like seeing experience on. Forget about the gold. I think that there are other Guardians that we look at that I think are a little bit more item dependent. But Terra's a character that I want to get to level 20 ASAP because that ultimate, the numbers go way up.
Yeah,
and being able to, the damage mitigation is one thing, but the swing of the heal and the damage you take when busting through those stones, I mean, that's a really big deal. So I don't have too much of an issue there. Look how much that increases.
Yankee mid just got picked off as we were talking about that at the same time. The damage from the burns were just good enough.
That time, the setup was there. I don't even need to see it to know what happened.
Well, Cyno's ult is on cooldown.
Cyno went up, and the best... Well, that's what happened. Was Cyno went up, and the best laid down the Path of Flames like the last time, like game number 1.
Left-hand side, Zapman trying to steal a purple, but on the right-hand side, Scary D getting run away from right now because of the fact that I thought I saw Cyno over there. But Snipes may pick up this kill.
Beautiful.
With the damage from the lovely dragon.
Beautiful. Aror just sets up the damage for his hunter. Here comes Scary D with the ultimate onto Divios, but I don't think he cares.
No, Divios will be okay to just stand and bang if he needs to for a little while there. Has sustain in that kit too, which always goes unnoticed. It's not the fact that he's also got anti-heal and steals heals. He has actual heals in his kit. Use that leap, hit those minions, heal up again.
Yeah, the little doggy jump. It's kind of cute. Able to heal himself up.
I've never seen a real dog jump like that though.
No, it's like the little pounce.
Yeah, it's more like a cat.
It's like how they're ready to play. Divios right now.
Well, it's like a kid and his pet dog is basically what we're seeing here. Meanwhile, there's a blind girl and a rat. I mean, this combination is definitely interesting. Blue buff will be taken by Splyce. The pressure was just there long enough, with Best just sweeping across from the mid lane too, which made sure that Trifecta decided not to get aggressive.
I love that move from the Best. The entire team makes the shift. The Best makes the rotation to the right side just in case, which drags Aror over to the middle lane, specifically at the time that the Hunter is doing the red buff in the jungle, meaning that if that turns into an all-out team fight, that everybody can really make it there because everybody has shifted. Let's say 0.5 of a position, 0.5 of a lane, right? The hunter comes into the middle, the support goes right into the actual middle lane. So that whole team shift was really nicely timed. Splyce didn't need to pull the trigger, but if Trifecta decided to fight into that blue buff steal, then all of a sudden Splyce has all the options they need to win that fight.
And that's kind of like any traditional sport, you know, with multiple players on a team, that you do have to shift positions to cover a position that's being left vacated by this shift.
Yeah, you'll see that a lot in basketball when they trade positions, even in esports like Counter-Strike, where guys have looser positions than in MOBAs, but you'll just have to make sure that when somebody has an alternative job to do.
Gank on the right-hand side, Divios in trouble, knocked up, comes down, but leaps away. Too tanky already at this stage for Mask to find the kill. Good damage checker option, though, I guess, at this stage, just to see how well he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to keep pressure on Divios, make sure he doesn't feel too comfortable. Mask on this Nemesis, it can clear well, and it doesn't struggle exactly in the solo lane, but certainly needs a little bit of help, and Mask providing just that, and kind of what he did on the Thor. I don't need to get the kill, I'm just going to go up, and the fact that I'm here and you can see me is a really big deal.
Left-hand side, CycloneSpin a little bit far forward there as NeiruMah just came back into the lane, but nothing aggressive really going to happen there, I guess. Cyclone with just a bit of a lead over Zapman at this stage, 10 to 11. Aror and NeiruMah still even, but the boar is out.
CycloneSpin going to take a lot of damage here, but Aror wrapping around from the front is going to put the buttes. By the way, Cyclone's good for now.
Well, though buttes were good enough to get away, I guess, for CycloneSpin in that situation. And
it was a butte.
TheBest rotating over makes it a beautiful disengage.
And again, the shift. This is what we're seeing. Splyce or I love this just in case. And I think if Trifecta were a little bit more aggressive, we would just see more team fights where Splyce are winning because the mid laner has been making these rotations and not losing for it.
I was going to say,
Graham.
it's the timing of these rotations that are very, very important from the best in the mid lane too. Because he doesn't lose the experience, and if he does, somebody else is picking that up on top, not losing tower damage. Whereas if Metyankey's trying to rotate, you can see he's lost a bit of tower pressure there already. Even though the early game, you know, for the Agni, different story.
Metyankey also down about a quarter of a level and a ton of Warlock stacks, which is the more important point.
Yeah, those stacks obviously do add up. Obviously, it's not just there for show. It actually does provide quite a little bit of health and some power to help back that up.
CycloneSpin.
There's a guy to the right-hand side coming up. I can just see it now.
Oh, yeah,
Cyno just wrapped around the back. Scary D has used his dash already. The sash was beautiful, and that is a dead Nemesis.
See you later.
Nice and clean, that one.
Yeah.
Not more to say other than, yep, there was nothing Scary could do.
That's one of the nice things that this Nemesis solo does open up for Splyce across the way, is the fact that Nemesis is a little bit more susceptible to being killed early on than some of the other options.
And with that tier 1 tower being looked at by Splyce now, once that goes down, that's the point where I'm like, Nemesis with teleport now doesn't feel as good as it once was.
Well, left side, because Splyce showed their cards to the left side, on the right side, and they're also gonna pick up on the left side.
What were Trifecta doing there? Like, they just got caught sleeping. Now they're trying to make something happen after the Gold Fury. Punish this aggression. They're looking at best, but Mask didn't choose the right option. Dash used, and a stun means that Mask will not find anything he wants there off the back of that engagement. Splyce just get a kill him right, get a Gold Fury in a tier 1 tower.
A little bit of luck, a little bit of serendipity. Scary D forced back to base, a couple of the other players still in lane, and perhaps most importantly, Mask on the invade looking for it at least. The red buff wasn't up. That's one of those pulls that we see teams try time and time again that wind up just being leashed because somebody comes from the mid lane, sees them do it, and they just stop doing it and they walk away and nobody cares any longer. Mask couldn't respond because he was lurking in the enemy jungle. Splyce, I mean, this is the time that they threw the brick through the window and the alarm didn't sound. They just got it for free.
If you actually think back, I mean, it was quite a while ago now, like way over an hour, when we saw Game 1. This is very similar to Game 1 in terms of Trifecta have been a little bit slow again on the uptake of these things, where Splyce have been able to abuse it because of that.
Cyno and TheBest are just putting in work again. 4 kills that Cyno's been a part of, just 3 for TheBest, 5 in total here. I mean, this is what happens when Cyno's able to set the pace of the game. Trifecta are playing into his hand.
He plays the Naja so well, and it really is that god that he stands out more than any. I mean, his Raven is up there too, I would say, but he does play that very after the aggressive start. He stops with the Raven, where this keeps going.
It's so fluid, and this is totally a feels thing. As you play Naja, you feel yourself waterfalling from effect to effect.
Hammer onto NeiruMah, going to eat 2 bombs before he dashes away back to safety, but then be able to sustain back up with that monolith. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, Mask hanging around his own side of the jungle, looking to maybe get aggressive on Divios. He's covering the option of both here, because mid lane, there's a lot of pressure from Splyce once more.
Splyce are thinking about where they want to go. Trifecta, though, very important how much vision they're dropping. Pyro's going to be started here, Graham. I don't think Trifecta, A, want to, or B, can stop this.
I was going to say care, I guess. I mean, they will be a little bit upset about giving away a free positional advantage there for the most part, but they had pressure in the mid lane, did Splyce, and on the right-hand side. There's not much they can really do about that.
Yep, and that's it's a little bit too rough there. Splyce, 5K at 15 minutes, Graham. We talk about relative leads. This is quite one to talk about.
It is. I mean, strong position. I would be discussing earlier when I was discussing on Finch yesterday. To do with the fact that I think around 8,000 to 9,000 is the limit that you can be behind before the game is almost out and over. And I'm talking pre-25 to 30 minutes. So if it gets that high, you're in danger.
Because once you reach that 22 to 25 minute mark, that's really where you're able to go, all right, look, we're behind. It doesn't matter if we're behind 500 or 500,000.
Yeah.
We've got to last an extra 10 minutes, and then we've all got 6 items, and you can go eat your gold.
I will say, if you get over 8,000 gold in like the first 70 minutes of the game, it's very hard to lose that. You shouldn't be. You should be looking to close that out relatively quick. Make sure they don't get that gold back. That gold does matter at all stages.
Exactly, and that's what I want to see Splyce do here. And it's so much fun to zoom out. And shouts to all the fans out there, but it's a lot of fun to watch objectively because looking at Trifecta grow to this point has been really amusing.
Trifecta have been solid throughout this season, put on some decent performances against some tough opposition or teams rated higher than them. Right now, though, they're having to deal with Splyce, who are on the offensive once more. But Splyce this time round in a bit of trouble as Scary D takes down Cyno.
This is a really good fight for Trifecta. They're going to clean up Divios here after the fact. Trouble, though, as he's going to sneak out of there. Here comes Mask, finds him through traffic, but CycloneSpin from the sky answers back. It's number 6 for Splyce.
And Zapman a little bit late on that rotation over towards here, but didn't make an impact towards the end. Not enough to find a kill just yet, but it is a 4-on-3 as the pressure on the mid lane has been relieved, and Trifecta may look for this tier 1 tower. Only Aror really around to stop this. Best is trying to hang around, but not much they can do about this, I don't think.
Look at the player damage charts here, folks. This is one of the few times that it's actually going to illustrate what the hell is going on here. Nemesis fantastically got the ultimate, which is going to cut down the protections, and then everybody got caught exactly right where Metyankey is, right where that ward is. And look, Splyce tried to invade onto those XP
Oh, you
harpies.
lazy backs could be punished. Has to beads and jump away. He will survive, but lazy back hurt.
Splyce tried to engage in the enemy jungle, and everybody got caught in that corridor, and Metyankey's Raijin is one of the best characters to punish that. Just go, you guys are all standing in a straight line. I got 4 lines for you. Bang, 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 bang. So much damage came out from those 2 characters because of the positioning of Splyce.
Gold Fury started up by Splyce. Now they delayed the back of Metyankey, remember, a few moments ago. And Metyankey's lazy back actually may have impacted that just a little bit with how much burst Splyce just destroyed that Gold Fury with.
My microphone cable got caught on something. I turned around to fix it. I turned back and I see Splyce take the Gold Fury. That burst is so huge, and that right there.
The crits.
He's critting for 1,000 on the obviously their minions or whatever, but that nonsense. That is one of the things that people forget about Naja. Can we mouse over Flaming Spear, please? The second ability from this assassin. Hindu, just look at these numbers.
Okay.
Right now at number 3, he's getting 35% attack speed, 15% chance to crit. It's lasting for 5 full seconds. In addition to a heal that he's popping.
Oh, I was supposed to talk there? You just said look at it. But yeah, I mean, that ability is one of the ones that generally gets leveled last because the sash damage is so good, but it's one of those things that slowly creeps into play the longer the game goes, kind of like Jing Wei's explosive bolts.
Yes, I actually love the way that the character is crafted because you ignore it outside of the heal until the late game, and then as the mid game becomes that late game, it starts to be used, and that's really the only time. In the early game, you're blowing people up with your ult sash combo anyway. You don't need those extended basics. Then when the late game comes, you're able to put points into that Flaming Spear. Objectives and subjects are toast.
Just want to mention as well, we've not touched on it this game. We did the previous 2. Aror has gone yet again for the Stone of Binding, but this time he's not playing the Ganesh, he's playing the Fafnir. This could be Aror's transition to the supports now to start picking up more often. I know you were saying you kind of liked it on some gods over others in the support role, Tom, but seems Aror seems to have found a few that he likes it with.
Well, here in the middle lane, Metyankey going to get in trouble. Pop the ultimate nice and early. NeiruMah get caught on the flank.
Good hammer from Aror there. Just smashes it in the face. Talk about getting smashed in the face. CycloneSpin is too. He's going to take to the sky to stay alive. Agni's getting very low. He'll drop down to Zapman. Cyclone on landing disappears, but Zapman has crept in with 2 kills so far in this engagement.
Great team fight from Trifecta. That looked like it was all Splyces. Mask going to be able to chase down this Naja for the moment, but as soon as he gets the turnaround, Mask gets hit by the sash. Auror's going to provide some damage as well, but we're all distracted. The real story is Divios going down to ex-teammate Zapman in the middle lane. 3 kills for the Hunter.
We've not mentioned that, but Divios TheBest, former teammates, and Aror, to be fair, with Zapman.
Oh, there's a lot of
I mean, to be fair, everyone's played against Zapman, been on Zapman's team by this stage, right? Like he's been around forever now.
Sure. Yeah, there's been a lot of different players coming in and out.
It's harder to find a player that Zapman hasn't been on a team with, I'd say, in the North American Pro League now.
Zapman isn't the guy that I would make that argument with, but I think just because of the years that he's been around.
That's what I meant, yeah.
I think if you look at a guy like Weekend, you can say this guy just played with everybody. No?
Yeah, I guess Weekend's up there. I'm trying to think of anybody else.
Who else has been on a ton of teams? Because a lot of the players, it's interesting, a lot of these players do stick with the players that they've kind of come up with.
They do. Pyromancer going to get bursted very quickly by Trifecta. As quick as the Gold Fury went down moments ago for Splyce. Still a 4k gold lead for Splyce though, but a stash from Cyno may force Scary D to play a little bit more passive there. He is tanky though, so he's not going to go down as quick as a Nemesis normally would at this stage of the game against an assassin.
Right, that said, I mean, some of that tankiness stripped away by courtesy of Divios' nonsense, just spitting out that dog stuff.
Slather.
Yeah, it's just the slobber.
It's slobber. Slather, slobber, same thing.
Yeah, just like, you know, being a dog.
Cerberus is the one that brings the slobber knocker.
Oh, look at you.
There you go. I found it. We worked it out. Fine.
Going back to that Stone of Binding, I want to mention this one because I think I just got it wrong in game number 1. I thought it was part of the specific strategy.
Hold that
Cyno doesn't need
one
no
more time.
strategy to just hold Mask in the brain.
Mask couldn't do a single thing. His beads are on cooldown, but Cyno
punish.
gets punished heavily. His beads were also on cooldown. Aror forced to transform to make sure he didn't get aggressed on by Trifecta, but the pressure's relieved. Jungle for jungle.
Nice punish. That was Cyno trying to make a swag move.
He
He does so, but his team, Metyankey, goes,
Is it still swag if you get punished, though?
yeah,
Okay.
you just cut the video early.
Oh, you cheat! You cheat! Is that how you do SPL happened?
Honestly, most of the time I nail it, but trust me, they're going to show the bloopers all over the place. Monday,
Esports Weekly.
Yeah, Monday at 11, we've got a new show. This will be the second episode that we're doing. We debuted it last week. It was a lot of fun. We start the show off where Hindu and Taku argue about predictions. Then me and Finch
I don't argue
about whatever the hell we feel like.
I don't argue about predictions. I just tell you what's going to happen. That's the situation. Coming to today, just so you know, I've only got 2 wrong, and 1 was because freaking out of nowhere a team lost that I was not expecting to happen.
Well, Splyce right here. Trifecta wasn't expecting the Gold Fury to happen. Splyce actually held it for longer than I expected.
Took him longer that time.
And then Trifecta just didn't take the bait.
Gold Fury just scaled there. That was what the issue was, you know. He was like, you know what, you guys are bursting me a little bit too hard. You can't do it as quick this time. Oh, maybe it was the Frenzy last time that came into play as it gets popped again. We've not mentioned that. Oh, that was close. I thought Yankee might just catch that.
Travel
That
time.
was so close.
That was as close can be. But Splyce show up and do the do. And just to put a cap on the Stone of Binding conversation, I thought it had to do with their specific strategy there, Hindu Man, because there was a lot of crowd control. But at the end of the day, looking back at it, I think this is just sort of Auror's. It's a nice bridge item because it's relatively inexpensive. 30 of each protection plus free penetration. 10 pen for anybody on your team that's around you when you're providing some crowd control, and that's kind of what Guardians do. I think it's just efficient.
But this specifically as well, I do want to mention that we're seeing both these supports not really transition into the aura builds that we've seen so often. The Sovereignty, the Thebes, and the Hot Ward Amulet, the 3 core items that everyone's been talking about being the support's build, the core build of a support. Both of them varying things up. The Thebes has stayed, granted, but the other things around it has been different, and that's why you see the Hot Ward, I guess, on Scary D.
I think, so there's 2 conversations there. 1, your solo laner can pick up some of the slack by going the aura. 2, sometimes you just want better items at this level of play. The aura items are a nice sort of band-aid for when your teammates don't know how to itemize correctly, and so if you're in ranked, you should probably keep doing that. But at this level of play, you can expect your teammates to counter build. You can expect your teammates to go ahead and pick up some of the options, like you've got some of the defensive stuff like the Masamune on the left side of the screen and things like that. So I think the lack of auras just means that some of these players just don't need all of that defense. You're better off going an item like Magi's Cloak, Stone of Binding, or Mantle of Discord that'll provide you a more obvious result than just a couple of extra protections.
And talking about the Mantle of Discord, Aurora's got a pretty substantial lead over NeiruMah then with how far along their builds have come. Because at the moment, NeiruMah's still working towards what likely will be a Mantle of Discord for himself, but he's a whole item behind them at this stage, or at least an item and a half.
I actually want to see a Spirit Robe before Mantle of Discord.
Reason being?
Ton of crowd control. Cyno's going to hit you with the sash, whether you're probably not going to get ulted by Cyno, but he might use you as a sash target. Aurora's got the hammer as well. I haven't sold myself on it, but the Mantle of Discord is usually what we see 6th item, and it will be the 5th item. You know what, NeiruMah? You got it.
We'll see how it transitions for him, though, in these team fights. Do like the Divine Ruin out from TheBest here. The sustain from Terra alone with that ultimate can cause a lot of problems. It's not just Earthen Fury, it's enemy Fury. Very good blink, as you said, from Mask there, just avoiding the sash. Although I'm not sure if that was before the sash actually was fired, because I think the sash would have connected if it was on target.
Yeah, it was definitely going to connect.
I wasn't sure if it was. Pyromancer for Splyce yet again being looked at. They're looking to burst this one down. No Frenzy invested this time round. And yeah, Frenzy. We've seen it popped a couple of times. Obviously, with Cyno on this jungler that has crit in his kit alongside a Rama, Frenzy and objectives alongside a Fafnir is a very dangerous thing to deal with.
Oh yeah, Frenzy is a really fun option to go ahead and select. It's going to give you some penetration, just amplify everything basically. Great for team fights, but you mentioned it. More importantly, I think is about the objective burning prowess that this team brings in tandem with the Frenzy pick.
And the big thing about that for Splyce then is that Trifecta's window of defending is a little bit slimmer. Now they can't wait as long as they did around the objectives. They're going to have to be there an edge earlier than they usually would just to deal with this, and they have to recognize it as this game continues.
And that's scary because Cyno, even without the blink, Naja can engage from a really far distance. You go ahead and you sash the front line, and then you turn your camera and you ult the back line, just using the front line as a train stop.
Chased down by 5 members of Trifecta here. Still alive, though, as Mask goes up. They're going to look to try and kill the Pooch, but the Pooch will get out of dodge. Aror, meanwhile, though, in the dragon form, just trying to survive, and does so for now, but Scary D was waiting for him and picks up the kill. Meanwhile, the fight's still raging on as Mask has fallen in trade. Divios back in the fray.
CycloneSpin takes to the sky to take care of Zapman, gets chunked. Oh, and the bomb stun confirms it. Doesn't even need the stun.
But Cyno gets chunked too to trade that kill out 1-for-1. Metyankey, though, is being chased down by Divios, and there's not a whole lot he can do. Uses the Raijin for peel to try and get the slow off, but Cyclone's still looking for it. And a quick leap, but the pounce is good. Divios credited with the kill. It's a 3-for-2 across the map.
NeiruMah. The ultimate from Divios comes out right here by the Fire Giant, and NeiruMah dropped the Monolith to body block his own teammates and not be ulted by Divios. That play was nuts.
Scary D is just trying to stop the Fire Giant being done, and done a good job of that too, keeping himself alive and allowing NeiruMah to get back over here. The team not healthy enough from Splyce right now, so they're going to have to fall back to the safety of the jungle. We got a small lull in the action.
I'm going to go back to the NeiruMah play, because this is a guy that's newer to a lot of the fans at home, and we keep talking about how it's just been a matter of time until he really shows his stuff here on the Pro League stage. This guy has the instincts. And that's what I was saying when we saw him sort of peek his nose up when he played for Oxygen Supremacy alongside Vanunu and Kiki over there last year. Watching NeiruMah, he just has the instincts of what a support is supposed to do at that moment in time. Divios pops the ultimate, and body blocking your teammates with the Monolith in an instant is not something that I think a lot of supports just think to. And NeiruMah does so. Obviously, there's other benefits for it, but just the instinct to drop the Monolith into man, that's impressive stuff that really doesn't wind up on the scoreboard.
And that Monolith can take 5 basic attacks, so he's going to absorb quite a bit of punishment from a late game Artemis, that's for sure. Fire Giant being looked at by Splyce, though. Remember, they have that frenzy.
And they're holding on to it in case Trifecta engages.
And then goes Aror once again, but TheBest ate a lot more damage than he bargained for. Into the sky goes Mask, and they're all grouped up, but the Aegis is buying him TheBest enough time to get away. He's out of the fight for now, as Cyno has drawn some attention to himself.
Cyno, on the other hand, has to escape because the rest of the team is dealing damage on the front side. CycloneSpin can deal with Zapman. Dashing away is the Agni as Mask takes care of business, but he walks into the flames, and that'll be his demise.
NeiruMah in trouble, but so is Cyclone. Uses the Aegis to avoid some damage, but he can't get there in time. Walk forward, did TheBest to try and help out his carry, and Metyankey just slammed his head with a teleport.
Cyno needs to be the one to finish everything up. The ring toss! Martyrdom double kill for Cyno Shore in the jungle.
Okay, so solo versus solo. Scary D going to dash, and Divios going to blink away. And let's watch some minions kill each other.
This is the game
that was a great fight.
This is the game that all solo laners wish for. Finally, everybody off the map. I can farm my lane.
Like,
Scary
he's
D's
not
gonna
even
go.
getting the tower. He's not even getting the tower.
No, he's gonna go proxy farm because he's a
He's
solo
checking speed.
laner.
No, that call. Scary's Mask was like, "Yo, do me a favor, just double check his speed slope. If it is, steal it." And
Oh,
it's down, unfortunately. And he's checking red too. So just going around trying to sweep up. It's this Nemesis adventure.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a new adventure.
Great pathing from Scary D on a serious note.
Yeah,
just
it is.
making sure to clean everything up because there's nothing you're gonna do by yourself.
But also, by walking around to those buffs, you clear the timers out as
Yep.
well. So you have an idea of it. Unfortunately, the window has expired now. But that team fight, that was just everybody died.
Yeah, no.
The ring, you called it right as well. The martyrdom kill from Cyno there. It's like, I can throw a ring toss and hope for the best. And the rings just bounce to perfection.
Really, really, really clean stuff. Well, not clean, actually. I'm taking that away, actually. That wasn't clean at all.
Dirty.
But it was fun
It
to
was
watch.
dirty. That's
Yeah.
what you have to. Nothing like clean.
It was like a monster truck rally, just everybody getting beat up.
Well, that was round one. Here comes round two. Everybody respawned and be a bit different this time round because quite a few relics were invested. More so on the side of Splyce, I'd say. More of these relics were available for Trifecta here at the moment. But one thing that is available is that Frenzy.
Exactly, and I think the relics were a huge deal there because Splyce said what up to the best, and he kept his cool. He didn't pop anything when Nemesis ulted him and he got dunked on. He waited for Mask to land from the sky. It was really a big play from the best.
I do want to note as well that Cyclone used his Aegis to try and have the best come in to turn that around. The CC chains it, buy him a window and burn down the target. But it just wasn't to be. There's a lot of trust on this Splyce team with each other with what that play showed to me. But Trifecta just answered back nicely. Now Splyce going to look to pressure the mid lane here, try and relieve some of this around the Fire Giant. For the front line of Aror and Divios, a little bit more damage than bargain for. Cyno, though, trying to wrap around the back, but he's surrounded.
He was looking for Zapman using the ultimate defensively. Not going to have that option, but the ring toss going to cut down a lot of the options for Trifecta.
Still juking around his Cyno, but Mask
fight.
cleans it up with the spin to win. On the back of the fight, though, Metyankey is getting very low, and Cyclone rolled in to pick apart Zapman. Metyankey falls down to Divios, who threads the needle as the bomb from TheBest doesn't bring down NeiruMah just yet, but Mask is back in action.
CycloneSpin still trying to deal the damage. Scary D shows up and takes care of one. Half HP already for the Nemesis, but with the shield gone, the character's gone.
Agni,
Splyce puts up number 20 as TheBest finds his personal 6th kill of the game.
And with the tier 2 tower falling now, this could be a Phoenix as well. Who is it going to be? I mean, yeah, they should be able to get a Phoenix. It's only NeiruMah on his own.
Yeah.
NeiruMah needs to just focus on wave clear here. That's the priority.
Exactly. Splyce doesn't have the prime players looking to kill the tower. No Hunter, no Cyno.
Body block.
So they got to do it the hard way. But they've got enough tanky presence here to tank the Phoenix forever. Plus, they've got the Fafnir. I don't think it's an issue.
Oh, he's still getting low, and the root is good. Aror's in trouble. He's going to jump away. They won't get the Phoenix. NeiruMah defends.
My goodness, it is an issue.
I honestly thought he may have made a small mistake there by not body blocking the Agni in hands, but by punching and continuing to pressure Divios, Divios leaps out, gets too low. Aror ends up tanking. He gets his abilities back up again to block off some of the damage and CC chain them again. Great play from NeiruMah. That keeps Trifecta in game 3.
Yeah, tell me support's a boring position again. That has been my biggest pet peeve as of late.
You can't win a game as support on your own, but you can prevent a game from being lost on your own.
Tell that to Aror.
To Aror?
Aror wins his ranked games when I watch that.
Oh, what are you talking about then? That was NeiruMah.
No,
Aror was leaping away. You're like,
no, Aror
confuse the fans.
He wins his ranked games when I watch that dude stream. But NeiruMah, yeah, no, absolutely. I love the impact that these guys have. And again, that's a support instinct play.
Hold on a second, because the Fire Giant's getting very low. Full investment from Splyce this time round. No one here from Trifecta. Too late. Boys and girls, NeiruMah dashing in, though, trying to make this happen. Mask in the sky takes out Divios. That's a frontline tank dead.
Big knock-up coming out for the jungler. Now the chase is on to Aror. The rest of the team will be safe and sound.
Stun.
And TheBest is helping big time.
But TheBest may have hung around a little bit too long. Still, Aror is on the run. His tanky protections keep him alive, but not long enough. Zapman gets credit for the kill. No follow-up from Trifecta there, though, after Scary D went in. Instead, they fall back to the tier 2, but Cyclone, looking to try and clean up a target if he can, he will pressure them off.
So Cyclone only ults there because Cyno goes for the sash, and I love to see teammates do that even when it comes up sour. He expected Cyno to land the sash, which would have confirmed at least 2 shots from his Ram ultimate. Just trusting the teammate. Sure, sometimes you come up flat, but here's the thing. If Cyno nails that stun and CycloneSpin doesn't ult preemptively, he doesn't hit those shots guaranteed. So I love the fact that he trusted his teammate there. I want to see it work next time, sure, but that trust, that communication, that's important.
I'm loving Season 5 Smite.
Oh,
I
it's so
really am. Especially like both Europe and North America. Splyce are like bottom of the North American SPL, and they're giving us performances like this against mid-table, I'll say, Trifecta, with how they've been looking this split. It's never been this close before.
Nope.
And this set in specific, it's not about mistakes. It's about individual plays. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
It's the plays that are standing out. It's not the mistakes of like, oh, shouldn't have done that. That's why they've lost this game. Nothing like that's happened. It's more to do with individual plays.
Yeah, I mean, NeiruMah defending that Phoenix by himself. And again, we noted that it wasn't Cyno or Cyclone there, so the dedicated damage dealers weren't available to provide the Phoenix push. But even still, those 3 characters with the Aurora
that
passive,
should have been a Phoenix, period. NeiruMah prevented that.
Oh,
that's it. That's a big key. Like,
absolutely.
even though the damage dealers weren't there, that should have been a Phoenix.
Yeah.
However, this time around, Splyce on the aggressive. There's 2 tier 2 towers remaining, but this middle Phoenix hasn't regen to full just yet. And now Splyce looking to bring it down. Mask in the sky very early on. Going to force back both the carries away from the Phoenix, but the Phoenix is already dead.
Divios gets wrecked a little bit by the geometry of the map there, but he'll live and walk away. Cyno Show uses the ultimate defensively, but the chase is on. Trifecta looking for everything here. There's the blink forward. Mask finds a stun.
Got a lot of seconds with that Terra ultimate ticking away to keep this going. Frenzy used by Aror there to try and prevent them, but it's not going to be the case. Aror forced to transform, has his abilities again, but he can't get them off. The Thunder Crash was just too goodly timed from Metyankey. Brings down the support.
I'm not gonna say this 100%, but it's almost like Aror used the wrong relic.
Yeah.
Like he definitely wanted to sprint there, and he popped the frenzy. Playing devil's advocate, there is something. Maybe he was saying, if I activate the frenzy, Trifecta will think that we're turning and be afraid.
That's what I was thinking.
But the sprint, I think, was clearly the better option, and I think Aror, because he did activate it a little bit after the fact, I think Aror just used the wrong relic there.
To be fair, Auror's one of those players as well that will come out and say that too about what actually happened there. Because I do want to believe that he popped the frenzy to try and stop them from engaging. Like, oh, they're going to turn.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
But it might have been a mistake.
When it comes to commentary, you say, yeah, this guy built the Brawler's Beatstick to deal with the healing from the healer. Yes, that's obvious. But plays like that, you got to sort of guess into the player mindset.
Sure.
So we'll figure that one out a little bit later.
Well, with Trifecta taking out Aror, they got a little bit aggressive there, taking down a couple of towers in the mid lane for themselves, tier 1 and tier 2 respectively. The left-hand ones were already stripped earlier on. So it's on the right-hand side, and in theory, Trifecta are in a better map position at the moment than Splyce.
Just because of the towers?
Position of the towers that are available, tier 1, tier 2. Tier 1's not as valuable. Tier 2s are definitely valuable, you know? And also the position of them. Left-hand side of the map, we all know, is the furthest away from the fire giant, so it's the hardest to defend. So I'm just sick of hearing that over and over again. It's been 5 years of hearing that, Tom, but people should still know it by now. Is it the way I said it? Okay. I thought so. 20-19 though, 40 minutes in, and this game is still really close. The middle Phoenix is down, however, from Trifecta.
I think Splyce has the better map position.
Well, I forgot about the Phoenix, to be fair.
Well, no. Okay, ignoring the Phoenix. Falling back onto those towers on the right side, you have that tier 2 tower. It's not something that you're going to opt to defend, but you can fall back to safety.
We'll get into the map in a minute because Mask is already taken to the sky once more, but this is defense from Trifecta. They're running away, and Divios is having none of that. Get over here, Scary D. The bombs rain down, but the healing comes out from the Terra to keep Scary D alive. Metyankey, though, got picked up by Cyno and removed from the map.
Matt's still going to get a kill here, but this is all Splyce. Splyce need to continue going. Every single team fight that Trifecta has won has been because of the fact that Mask dives the back line after the team fight has really peaked. Watching this one down with Mask has his ultimate unavailable. This is where Splyce needs to fight.
They're trying to collapse on NeiruMah, but around the corner comes Mask and Scary D back in action with the TP. Into the sky, though, what we're going to see.
Over the wall! Over the wall comes Divios. He's going to jump on Scary D.
Oh,
Zapman with the big board.
But Zapman now left alone, gets hit by the stun, doesn't use his beads, still got his Aegis up too. Has to use his Aegis and beads there to get away from the Best. But Best is overextended, has to use his Aegis himself. The Flame Wave picks up the kill. The bomb rains down, but it's not enough. As at the same time, NeiruMah just squeaks away from the edge of that last bomb.
This Splyce team needs to go sign up for a joust tournament. Divios, TheBest, and Aror have repeatedly been the guys that have survived these
that's
team
old
fights.
Ego. Minus Zapman at the moment. Scary D, though, still hanging around. Middle Phoenix is going to go down in all this in favor of Splyce. I don't think Terra can defend that on her own. Remember, the minions will focus that Phoenix and nothing but until they are removed from the map. The Phoenix is alive! Phoenix is alive!
So is Scary D, and he's here threatening the Fire Giant. Splyce are just dangling in front, but if they wait too long, the rest of Trifecta is going to be able to respond.
Mask
is in the sky! The bombs come down! Splyce are able to confirm!
But can they chase? That's the question. Scary D, he's looking for a roar. Meanwhile, Mask is fighting against the Best and finds the kill. Still alive with the shield is good enough, and the Urban Fury comes into play. But Trifecta will not take any more. They killed the Best. Cyclone was dead. Aurora escapes. Trifecta fall back.
Camera on Cyno, please, and thank you. I want to see if he has the fire. He does have the Fire Giant buff. That's a really big deal. And so, Cyno having that available, he's going to be able to provide the damage on the Phoenixes if Splyce find themselves in that position. But perhaps most importantly, the regen. Trifecta have looked great in these team fights because their target prioritization has been on point. Every team fight, Cyno and Cyclone die. Cyno with this buff will allow him to step out, heal up a little bit, and come back in.
22-22. 42 minutes in the game. Still towers remaining. All Phoenixes are alive once more. The middle one will regen after time. But look at this. Trifecta looking for Splyce, who are getting aggressive, looking to defend the Gold Fury. Divios being pressured out, and Aurori's being forced to try and help him, but the damage is too much for the pup.
You can't do that.
Auror's dead.
You just can't do that. That might be game if Trifecta play their cards right.
No, they're running back. They're going to go safely. They're not going to just dive down this lane. No tanks available now for Splyce on defense. Only one member with the Fire Giant, and that's Cyno. Relic ability is okay. Best has no Aegis, remember that? But the Aegis is up in a few seconds, and Zap took so much damage. Cyclone, can you end it? Aegis for 2 shots. The third is just out of range. Zapman will live, but that's going to slow down the aggression from Trifecta once more.
Just for the moment, that lifesteal's happening. Zapman already half HP.
But it's long enough. I mean, it's giving him another minute or two, or another few seconds,
Aurora's still out for 30, Divios out for 20. They can at least get this Phoenix into.
Scary D going to tank up the Phoenix. He's in an opportune moment as the Urban Fury popped by NeiruMah. The focus is actually onto Cyno. Show's getting low, but the crit's raining down on NeiruMah is making him check his options. Bombs out, and still Cyno alive, but he does fall down, as does the Phoenix, and Scary D just able to limp away in time. No chase available by Splyce. Divios and Aror take a step too far forward, and that's what happens.
Great job by Scary D there, just getting ulted by
But
Cyno.
Divios teleports to the back and picks up Scary D. Mask, though, not happy about that. Turned on towards Divios once more. Now we got a 4v4 for about a minute.
Big play by Scary D in that last team fight, getting ulted by Cyno. That sounds funny, but by doing that, nobody else is getting hit by Cyno. He's a tanky as hell Nemesis. He's sitting there asking to be ulted. Cyno goes ahead and provides him with that ultimate, lands, and dies. Scary D knows he's able to get out because of help from the shield and the mobility from the double dash. This is what I like about the tanky Nemesis. She just gets in the way. She slows everybody down. It's just a really nice pick.
At this stage of the game, though, these towers don't really mean too much other than giving the Titan a little bit more health, because just one person walking up to him like a cool breeze that will bring it down. That's the big thing about them now. They're just there to keep the Titan healthy. However, Splyce, 4 men strong in the mid lane here. We're looking for that Phoenix, which is a weakened Phoenix that has fallen once before. They're not going to fight it, though. There's Trifecta there in numbers to defend.
Cyno having a much different game than game number 1. He was the difference maker, and even here in game number 3 is the difference maker when he's allowed to do so. Trifecta has subtracted him from these team fights, so he's not allowed to show everybody the difference, and I think that's why Trifecta has been successful in the team fights that they've come out on top.
The team fights have been so active, it's been hard to call out a single player in them that has stood out above the rest right now. If I had to make an MVP call, it's tricky. Zapman, really?
It's Zapman. NeiruMah, honestly, as almost every game I feel like saying NeiruMah could be the star player for Trifecta. But he just sets everybody up, saves everybody.
But that's on Trifecta. What about Splyce? If you had to pick a play on Splyce?
On Splyce, I think that one's a little bit tougher. Man, that one is a little bit tougher. Probably the best, and it looks like I'm just looking at top kills, but I'm really not. Best has been repeatedly positioning himself well, specifically around these Phoenix fights. He's standing around the wall on the backside, providing the stun from over and being safe. It's something that we see a lot of players do. It's not innovative, but the Best just making sure that he's got his fundamentals on lock and he's able to provide damage and control from a distance.
Credit where it's due, though. Trifecta have been on the back foot for most of this game, and at this point in time, with the Phoenix being down, they are the aggressors around the Fire Giant. They are the ones with the ward coverage right now and the positional advantage. It's up to Splyce to do the other way. Love the ring toss out of Cyno there, just to ping to the back line off of the front line. NeiruMah. Now it's about ward fights. Keep an eye on west round the corner. Scary D is. He's looking to flank potentially, but he can't get isolated. If his team fall back too far, he'll be out of position.
Left side, Splyce does have a clock. Those fire minions are walking in down the left side lane. They've got to be careful of that. And so there were a couple of players are going to go ahead and back. Trifecta trying to dance around this fire giant. That's all they were waiting for. They're waiting for Splyce to be forced back into their base.
And there goes Cyno back to base. And as soon as he shows his face, Trifecta start up the fire giant. Scary D on zone. Splyce surrender. Splyce give up the fire giant, recognizing they cannot take it without a full team.
Zapman coming forward. I mentioned him earlier, and listen, he has been a difference maker here, 7-5-7, but more importantly, the Tusky. Artemis is a strong character, and we always bring up the fact how late game she is with the built-in crit damage and the vengeful assault. But, dude, that Caledonian boar, that Tusky, that little pig boy, that guy comes out and just wrecks these team fights.
When he wants to, let's just put it that way. So here we go. Fire Giant up around the waist of all 5 members of Trifecta. Left-hand side, they've got a little bit of time before that fire minion wave comes down. The one around the purple buff right now, that's all fire minions in red in that left-hand lane. And that's why you're seeing Mask go over there to maybe think about pushing in. But Divios going to commit. Seeing Mask on the left-hand side.
And there's the Best just in time coming down with the control. Frenzy for the friends. And Zapman makes none of them.
But the
best answer is back, and that's going to be a death for NeiruMah.
Yeah, NeiruMah being down could cause a couple of problems here, but Scary D going to lead in the charge. Metyankey was trying to make sure the Cyno can't come round the corner. However, there's no minions on this right-hand side, but the good news is the left-hand side, there's plenty of minions. Fire minions!
Left side, Phoenix is going to go down easy peasy. Splyce doesn't even try to protect that one. More importantly, to protect the right one. And that's what they'll do. Trifecta walk away.
Is that because of relic usage plus NeiruMah not being there pretty much?
Absolutely. Just NeiruMah has provided so much control. The root, obviously a big deal. The ultimate wouldn't have even been there if he was alive, but just NeiruMah needs to be there for these pushes.
So with that, Trifecta fall back happy with getting the left-hand Phoenix. The Titan has healed up a little bit now with the Phoenix respawning for a few seconds. It took a bit of poke from the fire minion wave, but it's not doom and gloom right now. Middle Phoenix will stay where it is for the time being. And another 22 seconds. I'm pretty sure Trifecta will go again. They've got plenty of time with the remainder of the Fire Giant.
This is a marathon set. This is a long game as well. But you know what?
Good Smite.
And I'm not afraid to admit this. Sometimes when these games go long, Hindu, it does get a little boring. This game is anything but. Cyno with the hot play, taking the sash to find the backline. Zapman.
But Zap's still alive until the performance from Cyclone sets up the ring toss. Mask, though, will take out Cyno, so it's a 1-for-1. But you were saying Zap was important for Trifecta. Him being dead for 70 seconds, that is the Fire Giant over with. I do not see Trifecta pushing forward anymore.
And that's such an important play from Cyno because he identifies the player to get. That's one of my favorite Naja plays. The sash to get to the front line and the ult to the back.
Yep.
It's so, first of all, just looks dope.
It's a rope-a-dope. That's what it is. It's like, hey, I'm going on you. No, I'm actually going on you. It's great.
It looks sick as hell, but more importantly, it's the right target. Cyno trades his life, but like you said, it's neutralizing the fire giant.
And I'm pretty sure Zap did have his beads up at that point too. Even if he did, there was just no real time to react because you just didn't see it coming. Especially when the sash comes in, you don't expect him to turn immediately onto you. 25 to 27, 50 minutes in. Game 2, it was a tactical strategical battle. This one, bloodbath, but still a tactical strategical battle.
This one definitely more on the bronze side than the brains, but both of these rams just locking horns.
I thought you said bronze then.
Oh,
not
no.
Brawn.
Oh, absolutely not.
I said more on the bronze side, and I'm like, where are you watching? Bronze?
It's fun. It's. I'm down to have some fun, but I mean, I wouldn't even make that joke in playing. These guys are crushing it right now.
I mean, there's one benefit for the fans at home. Not only are you getting entertaining Smite right now, but you're also getting to see 2 games in a row with 2 very high-level teams and what their builds look like.
Sure.
So it's not often you see a full build, and a lot of people at home are like, what am I supposed to build in this situation? And obviously every situation is different, but this is giving you an idea of where these sort of gods should be going with their builds in the later stages.
When we got into picks and bans, Ryan on the desk said Trifecta, right? And a lot of people were looking that way. And I immediately said Cyno has his Naja. And this is so much less so, and I told you so, and so much more, well, I told you so. But also,
I knew that was coming.
Cyno, this is a difference maker pick. We have comfort picks, and then we have niche picks. But then we have these picks that Cyno on this Naja, where he says, I will make a difference in this game. Cutting down Zapman, that last one, shut down the fire giant push.
The bait is coming. Trifecta are hidden round the corner. And nobody on Splyce knows there's no wards down here. Scaredy is initiated onto the backline. No, it wasn't the backline at all. It was onto Divios. And now Cyno and the boys of Splyce fall back to safety. Mask was in the sky, but he went on Aror, who transformed. Metyankey, though, did manage to find a piece of Cyno. And that was good enough to find a kill. The bait, the trap, ended up working.
And that's the big one. Cyno, just as I mentioned, he's the difference maker. He's been the guy. TheBest has been the one from the back line that has been providing a lot of the information, a lot of the context in the team fights, right? When it's team fight time, TheBest is the MVP and he's carrying the sword. But when it's time to just, all right, we need to find that SEAL Team 6 play. Just get in there and take out Zapman and neutralize the fire giant. That's where Cyno has come. When it's had to burst down the objectives.
If it goes wrong, the government disown him like it never existed, right?
Cyno has come through with the objectives. He's been those individual difference makers. But with him out for 40 seconds, regardless of what he's done, Trifecta are in a good spot.
But Trifecta have no ultimates here, so be aware of that. Frenzy popped early by Aror to try and slow this down just a little bit more. Cyclone swinging onto Scaredy, but Scaredy very tanky. Left-hand side, that is a lot of fire minions right now. They're going to get the left-hand Phoenix on their own. That was well-timed from Trifecta, abusing the aggression from the fires and left. And with Cyno being dead, Middle Phoenix is being looked at by Trifecta now. They have been on the back foot, as I said, for a while.
The best, just doing it like Dave Grohl. He needs to be the guy when Cyno's on the bench. Mask takes care of the best, and that's the other difference maker. But guess what? Tag in, Cyno just spawned.
And with Cyno spawning and Zapman still being dead, there's not a whole lot Trifecta can do left. They don't want to try and siege. The builds are just too much right now to try and go straight for the Titan. Trifecta have to fall back, but they've still got Fire Giant on 4 members.
Like I said before, sometimes these long games can get tiring and tried. I'm literally standing up, pacing back and forth, screaming at you, man.
And we don't often do this either. Like me and After have casted a long time. There's a lot of standing, a lot of sitting, a lot of standing, a lot of sitting. This one, like, all right, I'm on my feet now. I still can't call it. I'm favoring Trifecta at this point. Granted, 2 Phoenixes down. Splyce, though, have put in a lot of work this game. Can we go at the graphs real quick? I know we don't need the graphs right now, but I want to show you the tail of the game more than anything else. And if you look, it's all blue up until 50-odd minutes.
Yeah.
And that's when it starts to change towards red.
Splyce, I think, are not in a good position. That's my official analysis. You can pay me later. Seriously, though, Splyce...
Well, you get paid?
They do still have the tools. I think there are still tools here for Splyce to come back. Coming back from a couple of Phoenixes down is not as ridiculous or unheard of as it used to be. Defense is a little bit easier, even when your Phoenixes are down. I think as long as Cyno and TheBest are alive, Splyce are in it. I really think it's that simple. So it's up to Trifecta if they're looking to close this one out. Take care of the Lotus Prince and take care of the cool guy with 2 heads.
I do love the idea of looking at the player damage now, though, because you can really get a feel of how these characters look in the late game. The mages have been swinging all game long. Agni ever so slightly outperforming in terms of damage Metyankey.
And Metyankey is just caught up. The best was way in front beforehand, but it's all about Divios, who's way behind.
He was too far forward there on his own, unfortunately, and Trifecta annihilated him. And then Cyno, Aror is 1 hit from death too. Scary D blinks in, but he can't find Aror in time. Aror will get back, but Trifecta get the middle Phoenix, and now it's 3 on 5.
Trifecta right now are just biding their time, waiting for the minions to come in.
I love those words.
Left side and right side, both the minions are coming in here. Hindu Man, Trifecta are poised to make their strike in game number 3.
Oh, TheBest got half health, has to Aegis limp him back to his fountain. But the fountain isn't even needed anymore. The Titan is falling. Scary D takes out Aror, and the flames are not good enough. Neither is Cyclone. 2-1 Trifecta.
Little bit of a rough one there. I think that it just came down to Divios, unfortunately, stepping a little too far. Poor positioning.
The play was. I get the play though, because like he ults, he tries to turn around and throw him into his team. His team just not in the same position as him to follow it up. In theory, his position is good if his team is behind him.
Exactly.
It sounds really stupid to say that because obviously that means he's out of position. But I'm trying to say like the idea was there.
Right. So whether it's all Divios' fault or communication breakdown, I come from the camp that it's the team fault no matter what.
It's also the stage of the game too. Even if he does make that mistake, it's still a critical situation with 2 Phoenixes being down already.
Oh, that's rough.
What a crazy set. MVP. That's what you guys are going to do now. We've done our job for the most part, and those guys have done their job. What a great set, though, overall. Splyce looked great in all 3 games, as did Trifecta. I think out of game 1, maybe game 1, Splyce looked a little bit further ahead than Trifecta with how that performance went. I think Trifecta were a little bit slow in the uptake of this set, but my oh my, did they fight back into it.
They were able to bounce right on back. Big Z just doing what he's known for, coming through and making everybody sort of regret their decisions. The team came together. I don't know what else to say there. Fantastic stuff on both sides.
It's spring. It's still week 5. How much of a season we got to look forward to? We've still got LAN coming up too. But for now, it's time to head over to the desk because they've got to break this game down, and we've still got 2 more sets today.
Thank you, Graham. Thank you, Tom. Finch and Aggro here after a grueling set here between Trifecta and Splyce. And this just kind of feels like the story for me for this Splyce roster, man. They can take you right up to the brink, but they can't quite cross the finish line.
Exactly. Splyce just has trouble finishing the deal. They get there right to the finish line, it feels like, and they just can't quite take that last step. Look, Splyce
and
is
I mean
great
one
team.
step, too. Like
yeah, exactly.
I
mean, look at the team damage. Splyce did a fair amount more than Trifecta. It was really just well played by Trifecta. Their late game team fights were solid. Zapman played really well.
He did
on that Artemis. Neil was incredible on the Terra. The big thing there for the post game stats was the healing, and that's all coming from Neil on the Terra.
I love it though that we're getting this respect. Neil is going to be selected here as the MVP, the support.
Well deserved.
Yeah, and I think so. And I was seeing some people saying in the chat. Me and Ryan were talking about it as well. I mean, he looked great for them all set long, not just on this Terra. I believe he played the Athena earlier as well. I mean, huge impact for this team, and that's part of why Metyankey was looking so good on the Raijin and Mass was looking so good on the Rat. I mean, playing through Neil on the support.
And look at this. This play, just insane. That he blocks the Cerberus ult, the target that's getting picked up and thrown by Divios. He actually blocks it off with the Monolith. This dude's a beast. This Phoenix defense, critical for Trifecta to stay in it. Neil just played so well. Everyone did. Metyankey looked great on the Raijin. It was just a team effort from Trifecta and a great comeback from them as well, because Splyce got off to a roaring start in this game, man. I mean, Cyno was looking great yet again. Best was ahead. Divios was ahead. Splyce gets a couple Gold Furies early on before Trifecta could really rally back. But Trifecta is one of those teams that really seem to be one of the annoying fly that you can never quite get rid of in any game. We haven't really seen them get blown out that often so far here in Season 5. And if you're a team like Splyce that can get off to leads but struggle to close out, teams like Trifecta are going to give you trouble, because it seems like Trifecta is just ready to get back into it at any given moment.
Yeah, and for my money, that was Mask, Ryan, in that game. Or that was the reason why the game wasn't getting further away. Yes, everyone played well, but it was his Ratatoskr was finding the back line that was spreading the team fight out, that was keeping Splyce from doing exactly as much as they could have.
It was just that's what you need, right? You need to have the one dude who's like, yo, I'm still good. Just hold on. I'll get us there.
Yeah.
I just need you to pick it up whenever we get there. Met certainly did that on the Raijin. Zap had a couple great fights on that Artemis. Neil was playing well all game, and Scary's Nem solo, man. It's looking like a real thing. Kiki played well on it, and now Scary did too.
They're telling me we're going to throw it to the break, but everyone played so well. I just want to make sure we get everybody their due. I mean, even Zap looked like an old Zap here. I mean, everyone looked great that set. So that's only set 1. We got plenty more North American action waiting for you. So go ahead. I know you got to grab a drink, use the restroom, and we will be right back.
Shine in the crowd, we'll never hesitate. Let us rise to the clouds. We got nothing to lose, I know the time is right. Let us light up the fuse. And I know, and I know, and I know, and I know we're perfect, you and I. And I don't, and I don't, and I don't, and I don't giving up without a fight. What I feel, I know it's right. Let us detonate tonight. Let us detonate tonight. We can shine in the crowd, we never hesitate. Let us rise to the clouds. We got nothing to lose, I know the time is right. Let us light up the fuse. And I know, and I know, and I know, and I know we're perfect, you and I. And I don't, and I don't, and I don't, and I don't giving up without a fight. What I feel, I know it's right. Let us detonate tonight.